Yo, what is up, everybody? So we're here with Juan. Make sure you guys check out his channel. Great Washington football team YouTuber. And today, like you guys all know, we are previewing the Washington football team versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playoff game. We're gonna show you guys the injury report real quick. You guys already know most of it, but we'll give you guys that. We'll give you guys our keys to victory, and then our score prediction for the game and stat predictions, and then we'll do some wild card picks, talk about the future of the team, and more. So let me say hi to some people. What's up, Brian Harding? What's up, King Sean? What's up, Saltwater? Anglers. What's up, iOS Stone Point? What's up, Mark? What's up, Hassan? Okay. What's up, James? So let's real quick first. We'll wait for a few people to get in here, and then we'll go to the injury report. Mark Daly asked, Alex is starting, correct? It's not confirmed, but we all expect Alex Smith to start. I would be the only way Alex Smith doesn't start this game is if he has a setback, like in the next day or so, or not next day or so, tomorrow before the game, if he's warming up or something, maybe then he won't play. But I think he's gonna definitely start out the game. One thing that happened in the game against the Eagles is that he started out the game pretty good, and then he said his calf tightened up, so that's why he was less mobile over time in the game. So if that doesn't happen, that's going to be a huge boost. King Sean says, I want Taylor to start. Okay, so let's go through the injury report real quick. For us, real quick, Jonathan Allen, he didn't practice one of the days, but he is good to go. Thomas Davis out. He's been dealing with that knee injury for a while. Antonio Gibson, questionable. We all expect him to go. He played last week, looked decent. He said after the Panthers game, his toe swole up a little bit. But after the Philly game, it didn't at all. So he's just getting better and better, health-wise, which is good news. Terry, questionable for the game. We all know Terry's gonna play. Hopefully, let's say he was at 60. He was probably like at 70% last week. Let's hope he's at 75, 80% plus, because it is, more than a 2 to 3 week injury. And then KPL still questionable. He's been questionable for a few weeks, but you got to think he's going to play this game. I mean, it's possibly the last game of the season. And then Brandon Sheriff and Kendall Fuller are good to go. So, Juan, any, you got a takeaway for this?
Not for our injury report because everything that we've seen, we've been, really, up to date on every single day. We all expected everybody on that list out. Obviously Thomas Davis, he's not playing anymore. Only person on that list is Alex Smith. Everybody else we know was going to be on that list, and we expect them to play. They were all limited throughout the week. Probably KPL because I thought he was going to play last week and he didn't play. But I think he's going to play. It's playoffs and you have to play. Terry McLaurin, I don't know if he was like Antonio Gibson, but Antonio Gibson said the toe is feeling better than it did last week. I'm hoping Terry's the same way and within his ankle, and he says his ankle feel better, but we'll see. But I expect them all to play and nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, okay. So real quick, let's go to the Bucs injury report. And I did see the comment, don't worry. Carl Carlton Davis is questionable, but he's one of their better corners. He fully practiced though on Thursday, so expect him to play. I mean, anytime especially in the playoffs, but even in the regular season, when you fully practice, you're gonna play. You're gonna play. It could just be for show. They put him at full practice just for the injury report, but I doubt it. I think he's gonna play. What's up, James? Let's see. Mike Evans, questionable. He's a game time decision. I do think he's gonna play, but I do think he's gonna be somewhat limited in the game. I think, if you guys remember the Brian Burns game against Carolina, he was questionable to play. He was limited in the game and only was used in certain situations. I feel like the same thing's gonna happen with Mike Evans, maybe used more in red zone areas. I think he's going to play though, but he might be a little bit hampered with that injury. And then Jeremiah Ledbetter, one of their defensive linemen, he's out. LaShawn McCoy is questionable, but I did hear today that he wasn't playing from a Bucs reporter, so he's not going to play. And then Jason Pierre-Paul is dealing with the knee injury all week, so he might be a little bit banged up. We'll see what happens with that, but he's going to play. And then Devin White, because he's on the COVID list, he is out for this game. So that's good news for us. So yeah, Juan, what's your reaction on that? I think Juan's having some technical difficulties, but that's all right. So, what's up, Infinite? How you doing, man? Good to see you in here. Okay, so we're just gonna go through this real quick. Okay, yeah. So Juan's gonna come back in a second, but the injury report doesn't look too bad for us. Let's please hope that Alex Smith's calf doesn't tighten up during the game. Probably gonna happen, but it's just unfortunate that Alex had to get hurt. Um, you're good, you're good, Juan. Um, let's see. What's up, Burgundy and Gold fan all day? How you doing? So yeah, Juan, once you get back in here, I'll add you. Um, so yeah. What's up, Hassan? What's up, Reggie Reg? So if Alex Smith is good to go, we'll talk about it later when Juan gets back, but we're gonna talk about if he thinks Taylor should start or if he thinks Alex should start. New York, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Cam Newton, 20 total touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Insert Cam Newton into our offense this year, and we win against New York both times, Cleveland and Detroit. Hey, I think here's the thing. I am not a. Here's the thing with Cam. I think no doubt his play this year has been better than our quarterback play because we've had the worst starting quarterback play probably combined in the NFL. Maybe there's a couple other teams. So I do think Cam would have won us at least one of the New York games, and maybe the Detroit game. That's the thing. But I just don't. I saw a report earlier this week that it was like $20 million to $30 million dollars a year. That's what Adam Schefter said. I would not pay him that at all. I would not pay him that at all. If you can get him, I don't know, it wouldn't be one of my preferred options. I wouldn't absolutely hate it. If we could get him for cheap, I would rather I would be fine with him instead of someone like Kyle Allen. But I rather, draft someone in the first round or maybe try to trade for maybe Matt Stafford or sign Dak or Matt Ryan before I would go to Cam. But I don't think it's a terrible idea. Let's see. So everyone in the chat, let me know real quick. Would you rather start Taylor Heineke or Alex Smith? Real quick. But yeah, he has that connection with Ron Rivera, so you never know. Reggie Reg said start Taylor. XNAGJX said start Taylor. Noah said Alex Smith. So I'll give you guys my take while people are putting it in the chat. Taylor Heineke, Philippi said Alex Smith. So here's what I would say. I know it's like Taylor Heineke's a popular answer. A lot of people want him, but you have zero idea at all what you're gonna get out of Taylor Heineke. You have no idea. You could get some solid play from him, or you could get some pretty bad play. I mean, his play against the Panthers was solid, but again, it was in soft coverage. You're not going to get that against the Bucs, and they're going to force him to throw the ball downfield, which maybe he can do. But why not Alex Smith? Alex Smith, I mean, obviously you know why, but here's why I'll say to start him. He's 5-1 as a starter. Alex Smith, if in that Eagles game, he scored 17, or the offense scored 17 points in that half. He had a really good first drive, and somewhere in that first half, his calf tightened up and he started to get less mobile. What I would do, start Alex, and unless he gets way worse injury-wise, or because here's the thing, he's the same health-wise pretty much as he was in that 49ers game. The difference in the 49ers game versus the Eagles game is he was accurate in the Eagles game. He wasn't mobile. In the 49ers game, he wasn't accurate at all and wasn't mobile. So I would start Alex, give him a few possessions, and if it looks really, really bad, then you can go ahead and go to Taylor Heineke if you're down by a lot. But if the game's relatively close at all, I would keep in Alex Smith. You just have no idea what you're going to get out of Taylor Heineke. I mean, he has 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in his career. Really hasn't played much he's playing against Tom Brady in a playoff game against a really good D line. You have absolutely no idea what you're going to get out of him. We'll see what happens with Alex Smith, but I definitely expect Alex Smith to play, and maybe Taylor Heineke gets in there for a possession or two. I would not mind that at all. What's up, BG? How you doing, man? So Juan's coming in here any second right now. He had some technical difficulties. So let's go ahead and I'll wait for the keys to victory from Juan, but I want to hear your score predictions for the game in the comments down below. Go ahead and drop those real quick. We'll do the keys to victory once Juan comes in here. So we'll wait a second. Let me see. Taylor is mobile. Smith is not. Alex is our best chance. Yeah, I mean that's what I agree. That's what I think, but we'll see. What's up, Big Quavis? But yeah, Alex is more experienced, and it's not even just the play. I mean, the guys rally around him. They really like him. They see what he went through, and they rally around him. So, I wouldn't mind putting in Taylor for a while, but I think you're 5-1 as a starter with Alex Smith. Keep it going with him, and if he shows you that he's less mobile than he was last week and not accurate, then you put Taylor Heineke in. But for now, I would start Alex Smith at least for the beginning and see how it plays out. So Philip B said 24-21 Washington. James says 21-20 Bucs. Kira said 27-23 Washington. So for me, Saltwater Angler said 24-21. For me, I would not be super surprised if we won this game. Mark said 27-24 Washington. I just because Alex Smith is hampered, and I don't think they're gonna play Taylor much, unless Alex gets worse. I think it's gonna be around 27-20 Washington or the Bucs. We'll see though. It could change. A lot of that depends on our health. We have most of our players back, but Terry isn't fully healthy. Gibson's close, but he's not there yet. And then Alex Smith is definitely not fully healthy. So that's why I'm saying 27-20. Would not be super surprised if we won, though. We got to get pressure interior. So someone said, what do you think about using JD and Gibson in the backfield most of the game? I mean, we've been doing that most of the games. I think we got to give them the rock more. It is a very good run defense, though, so we'll see what we end up doing. So I'll go ahead and do some keys to victory. You guys can go ahead and put yours down below in the chat. So I'll start with one, and once Juan gets in here, we'll go ahead and put that, or he'll go ahead and share his. But the first one for me is you have to protect Alex Smith. If Alex Smith isn't protected, even Taylor Heineke, we don't have a great shot. I mean, Alex Smith was 19 for 20 last week, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, when he was not pressured. And someone says can't be a true fan and pick against us. That's not true. I'm just giving you guys my prediction. That's not me being a fake fan. I would love for us to win. But we got to protect him. He's obviously, even after the 17 surgery, not mobile. With this calf injury, not even close to mobile. He's a statue. So you protect him. I mean, last week we didn't protect him well at all. Our offensive line has to step up this week if we want to win this game. Protect Alex Smith, and I think our offense will be able to move down the field and get some points. Another thing is we can't play sloppy football. Just offensively, you can't have, silly penalties, silly mistakes. Let me add Juan in here. Juan, can you hear me?
Yo, you hear me?
Okay.
My,
So Juan's in here.
um,
So
um,
yeah, we're just doing keys to victory.
okay.
So I'll just finish this one up and then you give me one. So yeah, I'm saying can't play sloppy football offensively, defensively, as a whole. I know that's an obvious one, but special teams has to be sharp. I mean, we cannot have any missed kicks. Punt returns have to be like can't have any special teams turnovers on our coverage. We have to limit the yards, on kick returns 25 yards or less, and then punt returns limit those yards. And then we get some extra yards from our punt returners or kick returners? Can we start one of these drives at the 40 or something? We need to get an extra boost. We haven't really gotten that. Steven Sibbs had an okay punt return last week, but then he also had that fumble, and then obviously limit the penalties on offense and defense, and then the turnovers. Juan, give me one key to victory you have. I already talked about protecting Alex Smith.
Okay, so before I get into my key to victory, when I left, you were asking who should start at quarterback. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my opinion on that if you don't mind. So with the quarterback position, I honestly think we should start Alex Smith and we should treat it like the MLB. I don't know if you guys watch baseball, but the starting pitcher goes out there, in which in this case it would be Alex Smith. And then after Alex Smith, his calf starts tightening up, and then that's when you bring in Taylor Heineke. I wouldn't just start him flat out unless Alex obviously can't go. But Alex brings so much more to the huddle than just his on-field play. Morgan Moses said it himself. He said that when this guy isn't in a huddle, it's just like the team is just missing him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not just a good player on the field. He's a veteran. He can tell people what to do, and he knows how to lead a group of men. I don't know if Taylor Heineke can do that, and I'm not sure if he can do that from start to finish. So start Alex Smith, and if his calf tightens up, and let him give you how much he can give, whether that's a quarter, a half a quarter, 3/4, whatever that may be. Let him give you that, and then bring in Taylor, because that's just the smartest thing in my opinion. If Alex Smith can go, but we'll see. And for a key to victory, in my opinion, I think you have to limit their passing attack. And I know I said that last week, but man. I'm gonna include Mike Evans, even though he's possibly might not play, but still, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, Cameron Brate, Rob Gronkowski. And I didn't even account for their running backs because they're not really good pass catchers. But dude, that list goes on and on. So try to limit their passing attack. I don't think we're going to stop it, and I think they're going to get some explosive plays, but try to limit their passing attack.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I agree with you also on the Taylor Heineke thing because a lot of people, and I understand it, they really liked what they saw against Carolina. But the guys, you have to understand Taylor Heineke played 8 minutes in a game, 9 minutes in a game against soft coverage. Did play good. I'm not going to take that away from him. He played good. You just have no idea how he's going to play, how he's going to respond to the situation. So I'm not, because I know at the very least Alex is gonna, he's not gonna make many stupid decisions. The interception, the J.D. McKissick one, wasn't a great ball, but it should have been caught, and it should not have been an interception either way. It was a really lucky / good play by the DB, and then Alex, the second one, it kind of got unlucky that Logan Thomas fell. I didn't think it was a great ball regardless, but I was listening to a film breakdown and someone said that Logan Thomas ran the wrong route. Regardless, I think at least start him for the first few drives, see what you get from him. And if it looks like he's worse injury-wise than he was last week, then you can put in Taylor Heineke. But that's what someone says. You keep saying he played 8 minutes, but Alex had 3 turnovers against a third-string Eagles team. I mean, he had, like I said, he had 2 turnovers. A fumble. He didn't lose a fumble. The 2 turnovers. One definitely wasn't his fault. Maybe the other one was, but we'll see. I mean, whatever. You guys can want to start Taylor Heineke. That's fine, but I think Alex Smith gives us the best chance to win. You just have no idea what you're going to get out of Taylor Heineke. You have no idea what you're going to get out of him, especially in a playoff atmosphere against the best quarterback of all time. You have no idea. So another key to victory, and I think our defense is good enough. I think our defense is good enough to possibly limit them, and we could, if everything clicks offensively, we could score more points than them. I think that's how good our defense is with Alex. If Alex Smith plays, I think we can win the game. So another key to victory on defense, got to get pressure because kind of like what you said, limit the big plays by their receivers. So if you Brady needs time to throw it deep. So if you get pressure in his face, he's either going to have to throw a bad ball deep or he's not going to be able to throw deep. So you got to get pressure. You got to harass him. Interior pressure is really what bothers him. You got to get interior pressure by Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, but you also can use some stunts and get Chase Young and Montez Sweat inside. And Philip, you had a really good comment. Can you imagine if we lose bad after starting Taylor Heineke over Alex Smith? All the people would be asking for Ron's head, and the players would too. I mean, unless Alex Smith's injury is worse than last week, I mean, seriously, the guy, we're 5-1 when he starts, and I know that's the wins aren't on him necessarily, but he plays a part in that. He plays a part in it. These guys fight for him. You hear how they talk about him. And it's not just the stats, guys. You have to understand that. Like Juan said, he brings another, his leadership, and he's a veteran. He knows how to read the defenses and stuff. So that's just my take on it. We can talk about that later. And someone's talking about the Deshaun Watson. We can talk about that later. So let's go ahead and talk about. So I think that's good for keys to victory. We got a few in there, unless you have another one.
Let me think. I think I do have another one. Let me see. Not I think I did have another one. I think another one should be is try to Jack Del Rio. He needs to try to not disguise his play calling, but like run a. Well, it's not really a key to victory. I was just gonna say we should try to run a little bit more man this game because zone coverage is what Brady picks apart, and not to mention he's 1-9 against Tom Brady. So it's not. I'm hoping it's a Patriots thing, but and not a Tom Brady thing. But nevertheless, he's 1-9 against him, and you don't think Tom Brady knows how to, carve up Jack Del Rio now? So I don't want him to change the game plan, but run a little bit more man coverage because we know Brady loves zone. And I want to get to Christian Miller's comment. What he said that Pedro, the JD interception was definitely his fault. JD is 5'8", not 6'1". Why throw over his head? Whatever. Essentially, what he's trying to say, bro. He literally came out and said after the game that he was hurt. That during that time he was hurt. The first half he was good. That's all we're asking out of him. Just play the first half.
And the ball hit JD's hands. Like, he had the ball in his hands, and if it hits your hands, you should catch it. And it's not like you can call it a bad ball. Nonetheless, it wasn't a good throw. But that is like probably one of the luckiest interceptions I've seen. And it should have just been an incompletion. I'm not really counting that as a turnover on Alex Smith, but nonetheless,
my bad.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, me personally, I think it was on Alex Smith, but the ball was horrible. Let's just be honest there.
Yeah.
But in his defense, he was hurt, and he came out and said it. That ball was. Don't get me wrong. If Taylor Heineke was in the game, he would have thrown a better ball. But would Taylor Heineke would he have had the first half that Alex Smith had? I'm not sure. Would he have made that throw to Logan Thomas? I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? You guys are just so obsessed with this 9 minutes that he played versus the Panthers that were in soft coverage. I understand why, guys. Trust me, and I don't want you to think that you don't want to win and we don't want Taylor Heineke in there, but Alex Smith is just the better option. You know what I'm saying? And we're not asking for him to play the whole game. If he can, great. But if he can't, bring in Taylor Heineke. But you got to start Alex Smith because that team needs that veteran leadership and that boost.
Yeah. So real quick, give your score prediction for the game.
Everyone's gonna hate me, man. And I'll take it, bro. I'll put my face out there because you guys know I love my Washington football team, and I want to root for them to win. But over here, I'm not biased. So I do have Washington losing 33-21, and hopefully they prove me wrong tomorrow. But I just don't think we have the offense to keep up with them. You know what I'm saying? This offense is, and especially the quarterback, is a big question. And they basically put up 30 points per game. And I don't think we only put up 30 points 3 times this year. I don't think we have the offensive firepower to keep up with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. So I think we're going to lose 33-21, but I'm hoping and praying that they prove me wrong because I want to win. And this would be a huge, huge upset.
Yeah, I mean, I already said it earlier, but 27-20 Bucks is my prediction right there. So let's go on to stat predictions for the game. So first, we'll go ahead and do Alex Smith. So this is gonna be a tough one because we don't know if he's gonna finish the game. But I think if it's somewhat close, unless it's like 10-3 or something, and our offense hasn't done anything all day, and Alex has been terrible, I think Alex is honestly going to play the whole game unless his injury gets way, way worse. So I'm going to say Alex goes. This is a tough one. I think it's tough because you want them to run the ball, to lean on the run game just because of Alex's injury, but then you look at the stats. The Bucs have a really good run defense, the best run defense in the NFL. What's up, Talon House? So I'm gonna say 24 of. I'm gonna say 24 of 35, I think, around that. 24 of 35 for 240 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's my prediction right there. I don't think it's going to be a huge game. I don't think it's going to be I think that's my prediction.
Yeah, so with Alex Smith, I'm gonna just go off of based and say that he's playing the full game, which
Yeah.
we obviously don't know if he is. But I'm gonna just say mine is similar to yours, kinda. I think since they had the number one bet run defense, and we really, I'm not saying we struggle to run the ball because we do run the ball solid, but versus the number one ranked defense, Scott Turner is looking for any and every excuse to throw the ball. So this is giving him an excuse to throw the ball. So I think we're gonna throw the ball a lot, whether Taylor Heineke's in it or Alex Smith. So I'm gonna say Alex Smith goes 26 for 38. I really think he throws to close to 40. I wouldn't be surprised if it's over 40 passes because Scott Turner wants to pass the ball. I'm gonna say 26 for 40, and I'm gonna say 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna have a huge game, especially with his lack of mobility. I think that has caused that 49ers game and that Eagles game some turnovers. So I think that might play into it. That's why I have him as a 1 interception game. So let's go to Antonio Gibson. So this is going to be interesting, right? Because if they fall behind in this game, I could see a game where Gibson gets 10 carries. Honestly, I could see a game where Gibson only gets 10 carries. I would not be surprised at all because if we fall behind like we usually do in the first half, because we're the second best second half team in the NFL. But that could mean that Gibson doesn't get many carries. So I'm going to say, this is a tough one. I'm going to say Gibson gets 12 carries for 52 yards, and he gets a rushing touchdown, and then he has 4 catches for 27 yards.
Yeah, so with Antonio Gibson, I'm totally on the same page with you. I think if we are up, I think we're gonna have a heavy dose of Antonio Gibson. But if we, as we've seen in the past, especially the Panthers game, most recent, when we start to get down and we start to trail, we go pass heavy. So I think it's gonna be 13 carries for 72 yards, and I'm gonna throw Antonio Gibson a touchdown in there because he hasn't gotten the end zone in a while. So that is my prediction.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll read some of the. Go ahead and drop those in the chat. Asan Moore said 15 carries, 70 yards, 2 catches, 27 yards. So yeah, let's just hope he plays a solid game. I mean, I think he's like close to almost 100%. I really do. Like I think if we win this game, next week he'll pretty much be 100%. I think he'll be because what he got hurt week 14 I think. So
Yeah,
it's
the
been
game versus Pittsburgh. Yeah.
yeah, so it's been 4 weeks. It's been 4 weeks. So he he's close, if not like 90%, he's close to that and should be 100% in the coming days/weeks. So let's go to J.D. McKissic now. So I'm gonna start. I'll go. J.D. McKissic gets. I could. I'm gonna. I don't think he's gonna get a lot of carries. I'm gonna say 4 carries for 17 yards. 4 carries, 17 yards. 7 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown.
And yeah, Antonio Gibson is not Antonio Gibson. Sorry, J.D. McKissic is tricky, just like Antonio Gibson, because it could be games where he's having like he's going off, and there's games where he's just like, hey, where is he at? So I think obviously we're gonna lean more on him in the passing aspect. So I'm gonna say probably 5 carries for 22 yards, and then in the pass game probably have 8 receptions for 64 yards. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to have him be clutch, get those short 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, um, third down, conversions. That's the big thing with him. Hassan said 5 carries, 35 yards, 8 catches, 64. So let's go with Terry now. Um, yeah, Terry. So, he's close. He's close. He's healthy. I think he's gonna be healthier than he was last week. I do, at least a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and say he had 7 catches for 40 yards last week. It's the reason why it was 7 for 40 is partly because he was injured, but also because of 2 reasons. Alex Smith's mobility. He really barely looked downfield because of 2 reasons. He wasn't mobile enough, and the offensive line was terrible. He didn't have time. So I think the offensive line is going to be a little bit better. So that might help out, the yards per catch. So, and he might be a little bit healthier. So I'm going to say 6 catches for 58 yards. No, 62 yards. 62 yards.
I actually think Terry's gonna have a bigger game than that. Whether whoever's playing quarterback, I still don't think he's gonna get over 100 yards. Unfortunately, because when has Terry? I don't think Terry's got over 100 yards this year. Has he?
No, he has. I think
Yeah.
he got it against the Giants once, I know for sure. He might have gotten it and against the Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
Against the Cowboys he did. He might have had he's had like 2, maybe 3.
Okay, so I think he's gonna go 9 receptions for 80 yards. I think Terry McLaurin is gonna have a touchdown, maybe 2, but I think he's gonna have a touchdown for sure. 9 receptions for 80 yards, and hopefully Alex Taylor they can give him the ball because he obviously deserves it.
Yeah, Mira said if Alex starts full game, 21 for 35, 180 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. So here's what I'll say. If I know it's not gonna happen, but if Taylor Heineke started the full game, I would say like 7 catches for like 87 yards or something like that. For Terry, I think he would have a bigger day because they would be able to, go down the field a little bit more, and they're not able to do that. So I want them to give Terry some more slants, give him more opportunities to get yards after catch opportunities. Because in that game against the Eagles, I mean, every time he caught the ball, it was like a 6, 5, 7 yard catch, and he would go down immediately because he didn't want to get hurt, but also that it wasn't worth it. He would get maybe 1 or 2 extra yards. Fraggles, thank you so much for the $3 donation. Pressure Brady, and we have a shot exactly, especially the interior pressure. We got to get. We have to get some interior pressure on him. We got to do that. That's one of the biggest keys to victory. I agree. Chase Young and Chase Young even interior pressure, from some stunts. So, yeah. And go ahead and do your stat prediction for Logan Thomas.
Man, I think Logan Thomas he's been coming on late. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because my headphones, my fault. So I think Logan Thomas is going to be the leading receiver in this game, man. I'm sorry, like I just slowly is becoming a really huge fan of Logan Thomas. He's been coming up great for the past couple weeks, so I think he's gonna get 7 receptions for 93 yards and a touchdown, man. What is that already? 3 touchdowns. So I think we might put up 28, but hey, one of them might not happen. But 3 touchdowns, and I already said maybe 2 for Terry, but I'm gonna be more realistic. So probably that's 21. If Antonio Gibson gets in, then Terry gets in once, and Logan Thomas gets in. 21 sounds about realistic, and I believe that's the most. I mean, that's what I gave us. So I think Logan Thomas, man, he might have a big day,
Yeah,
especially
again,
with Devin White being out too.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's true. Again, appreciate the donation, Fraggles. So my prediction for Logan, and I've been on the Logan Thomas bandwagon for a while. When people were saying he was a tight end 3 or a tight end 2, I said I think before the Steelers game or before that game, when people were saying that he was a tight end 2 or tight end 3, I was saying he's a tight end 1. I was saying that, and I think he is right now. He's not necessarily like a top tier tight end 1, but I think he's a serviceable starting tight end, definitely. And you give him a better backup, I think that'll help us out a lot because you need someone better than Jeremy Sprinkle as your backup. Get someone in the draft, rounds 4 to 6 or 7, whatever you want to do, and maybe Thaddeus Moss turns into a solid player. Who knows? But I really like Logan Thomas. I'm gonna say 6 catches for 55 yards, no touchdowns, but that's a solid game. So let's go Cam Sims. I'll go with this one. Um, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go 5 catches for 44 yards. He's had a couple solid games. Or last week, I think he had like over 50 yards. He played okay. What's your prediction?
I think he's gonna get 4 receptions for about 32 yards. Cam Sims never has a big game per se, but his plays that he do make is always big. So I think he's gonna get 32 yards for receptions, but I would not be surprised if he goes well over that as far as the yard aspect goes.
Yeah, spaced out. I saw that Mike Nolan got fired. I was upset a little bit because, we want him to stay in Dallas. Hassan Moore said 9 catches, 87 yards, 1 touchdown for Logan Thomas. He said 6 catches, 48 yards for Cam Sims. And we'll do some. Let's see. King
Yo,
Sean said F the Cowboys. Okay, so who else do we have left? We don't really have anyone left. I
Steve
would
Sims maybe, but
Steve
I don't
Sims.
really want. He
Yeah,
sucks.
we don't need to predict any of the. I mean, those guys need if we have another week. I mean, they need to step up for us to be able to even consider giving them a stat prediction. They haven't.
Yeah, because Steve Sims has made catches, but I don't even think not Isaiah Thomas, Isaiah Wright has a target. He's literally went MIA. See, at least Steve Sims has 2 to 3 targets, but man, catches rather, because he made a beautiful catch last week, I believe. Last week, along the sideline. Isaiah Wright hasn't even had a target, and I know you probably want to address that Deshaun Watson trade offer. I'm not liking it. I don't. Nah, that's too much, man. For me
Where is
personally.
it? Let me see.
Plus his salary, but I just don't think if anything in that trade, if any I don't want to give away none of these defensive linemen, but if you give away one, it'll be Jonathan Allen. Matthew out of Ionitis, no, I'm not trading him. I don't know. I just that's so much for Watson, and trust me, he's a great player. But I just don't know if we're gonna give up all that and take on that huge salary. He's owed $16 million, I believe, next year or this past year, and he's owed $40 million next year. So I
Yeah,
don't know if you want to take on that big
honestly,
salary.
we can talk about it more later. But
Mhm.
I think it's gonna be. I think the price he put out, that Revs put out, I think it's gonna be more than that because you just think about it. You look at Jalen Ramsey and Jamal Adams, cornerbacks. Think about it, cornerbacks. It took more than 2 first-round picks for each of them, and they're cornerbacks. So I think it's gonna take minimum. it obviously depends on where your first round pick is, but 4 first round picks, maybe 3 first round picks, plus some early round picks and a player. We can talk about that a little bit later. Nero said, if we start Taylor Heineke, receivers will have more yards. I somewhat agree with that, especially if Alex is like he was in that second half, definitely. And I think, like I said earlier, I think Terry would have a better game with Heineke in, just because they would be able to go deeper. I just think it's better for us to have Alex Smith starting. That's just me, though. So what's up, Ali? Okay, so that's on offense. We don't really have any other players to predict. Hopefully, our wide receivers can step up. I mean, we have to, like I didn't do this in the key to victory, but our playmakers have to step up and make plays. I mean, if we want to win this game, someone has to make a huge play, like break a screen pass for 30, 40 yards, or make a catch, break a couple tackles, go in for a long touchdowns. Touchdown. We have if we want a chance in this game, our playmakers are gonna have to step up. We really, really do. Yeah. So, spaced out. I totally agree. So on defense, let's go ahead. How many sacks do you think we're gonna get? And
My fault. Go ahead.
and who?
So honestly, guys, if you guys don't know the stat already, Tom Brady is, I believe, the Bucks are 0-2 when 0-2 or 1-3. I believe it was 0-2 when Tom Brady is sacked. Oh no, actually, I think it's either 0-2 or 0-3. I could be wrong, but nevertheless, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are bad or potentially lose, and I hope it continues tomorrow when he's sacked 3 times or more, and we kind of average 3 sacks a game. So with that being said, I think we're gonna get 3 sacks, and if we get 3 sacks, hey man, maybe we win the game. But I think Chase is gonna get one. I think Sweat's gonna get one, and I think John Allen and Tim Settle are gonna combine for one. Half a sack.
Okay. I mean, I agree with you on the 3 sacks. For me, it's tough to predict. I don't think Montez is going to get one. The only reason why is because he's probably going to be going up against Tristan Wirfs, and Wirfs has only allowed 1 sack on the year. And I think that was to Khalil Mack. I'm not sure, but I don't think he's going to get a sack. We'll see, though. Hopefully he does. Maybe he gets a sack because, Chase Young and him switch up sometimes. Maybe he gets a sack there. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to give Payne half a sack, Chase Young half a sack, Jonathan Allen 1 sack. And I'm going to go ahead and say, because again, he struggles against interior pressure. So I'm going to say Cole Holcomb gets a sack. That gets you to 3 sacks on the day. And,
Hey, I'm all
also,
for
yeah.
it.
And another stat is that I don't know if there's any correlation, but Brady goes to bed early. And
Mhm.
I can't remember what the exact record is, but his record is really, really bad in the last few years on
It was
nighttime games.
It was this year, and I read the tweet. It said that he's 1-3 this year on primetime games, and he goes to sleep around 8 o'clock. So I know it's a lot of weird stats, but they might mean something. Also, another stat is that I got this off a Buccaneers fan page on Instagram. Is that they are 2-2 in the uniforms that they will be wearing tomorrow. So hey man, I know it's a lot of weird stats, but hopefully they mean something in our favor.
And Ron Rivera is 2-0 against Bruce Arians. So, um,
And we're 4-0 in the all white uniforms, so maybe we gotta throw them on. Or 3 and
yeah,
0.
I mean, for all the Bucks fans in here, you guys, you guys are definitely the better team. I don't know
Mhm.
knockout if you're a Bucks fan, or I don't know. You said HTTR, but the Bucks are a better team. They got the better quarterback. They got the better offense by far.
Mhm.
We'll see what they do. I think they're gonna have a good game. The knockout. I guarantee you, they're not scoring 56 on this defense.
Jesus
100%.
Christ, man.
I mean, the thing is, they've scored, I think, like 30 to 40 around in their last few games against absolute garbage absolute
And look at their
garbage
schedule.
defenses, and we're ranked the second defense in the NFL. And
I mean, I'm
you can believe that for whatever it's worth. We're like top 3 also in defensive efficiency. So I would bet I would bet a lot of money that we don't give up 56. I said 27. I mean, it could be more. They're not giving up 56. There's zero shot of that. There is zero
yeah,
shot of
I
that.
agree with Yeah, I agree with you. And I had to look up their schedule, and they lost 5 games this year. And 5 games they lost to was the Saints twice. Great defense, phenomenal
All
defense.
good
Probably
defenses except for the Chiefs.
Probably the best, or no, we're probably the best overall defense. And then the Saints, but I believe that the NFL gave them the best NFC defense. I could be wrong though, but they lost to them twice. They lost to the Bears. Obviously, a great defense, and Tom Brady was horrible in that game. That's the game where he thought it was third down and it was fourth down. Then they played obviously the Saints again. They played the Giants. The Giants, they didn't lose that game, but the Giants is a phenomenal defense too. We know, and he struggled in that game too. Really, they were all over him. And if it wasn't for that questionable 2-point conversion, which in my opinion, although I hate the Giants, that should have been a flag. That should have
And
been a flag. Go ahead.
and it should have been. I mean, you can debate the play, like the penalty, but if Jones would have thrown a good ball, it wouldn't have mattered the penalty because he would have caught it before he got to him too.
And then they also, I don't know if you consider this a good defense, but they won this game. But they played the Chargers and beat them by 7. I believe their offense kept them in that game, so that doesn't really matter. And they also played the Chiefs, who doesn't really have a great defense, but they have a better defense than they did last year. So, and they lost. So, I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to win. And trust me, I know that you guys are a better team, but you're not putting 56 up on us. And when you play a competent defensive line, you struggle.
Yeah,
So, and that's where all your losses came from. So don't think it's a walk in the park.
yeah, and Rick, I totally like you like I see your comment. You guys scored a bunch in those last few weeks against the Falcons twice, the Vikings,
Trash.
and um, whatever other team. The Falcons twice, Vikings and Lions. But again, those defenses are not great, and it's good. It's good to. I mean, of course, it's great to score against those defenses because you should be doing that. But I don't think you guys are going to score.
I
Uh,
mean, my
you could
bad.
score over 30. You could score over 30. I would not be surprised, but whoever said 50 plus, that's not happening.
Yeah, Rick, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say you're not going to score with 30 because I had you guys winning 31-22. But in my defense, it's not going to be a runaway 34. It's going to be a close game throughout, and then you guys are going to have a go-ahead score to beat us. But it's not going to be a 34 beatdown. Trust me, and I don't blame you, but you must have not been watching Washington's defense. Now, if the offense turns over the ball, sets you up in good field position, you can't really blame it on the defense. But if you're talking flat out, no, I don't see that happening. And you must not have watched Washington's defense this year. And I don't blame you because you're a Bucs fan. So
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think it's going to be a good game. I think, like I said, Bucks are going to win, and they're the better team. They really are. I think though it would be an interesting, situation if you give us an average quarterback. I think the matchup would be a lot better and a lot closer because I don't know if you were in the stream when I said this, and we can talk about this because we this year, I would say at the very best, like most optimistic, is we had the worst or bottom 3 starting quarterback play in the NFL. I really think so. I mean, Dwayne was just awful. Kyle Allen was like, he only played a few games, so he was okay. And then Alex statistically has not been good. He has not been good. He's brought some other things to the table. If you give us a below average team this game or below average quarterback this year, we would someone just random like Jacoby Brissett. We would have probably won 8+ games. You give us an average quarterback, Derek Carr, Marcus Mariota, that's like 9 wins in my opinion. You put in someone like I obviously it depends on if these guys are available, but Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott, someone like that, that's 10+ wins in my opinion no doubt. And next year we're gonna get our team overall. We're so young. Our core players are so young, and they're just gonna get better over time, especially next year. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll see. I mean, yeah, Rick, they definitely lost that game on purpose, but we ended up got that win.
What?
Uh, and our defense, regardless of the quarterback change, Jalen Hurts, his last 5 possessions before he got hurt, he had like his longest possession was like 20 something yards. We would have won the game anyways. So what's your like take on the quarterback position? Like where do you think we would be with an average or better quarterback?
Yeah, and before I get into that, I wanted to address knockouts. Comedy says they come back to us when they score 50. I just want to say you guys haven't scored 50
No,
all
he's
season.
not. He's a Ravens fan, by the way.
Oh, okay, but when they scored 50, they haven't scored 50 all year long. And on top of that, the games where they scored 40 plus were against horrible defenses. So if you think that they're going to score 50 against Washington, who in fact, if I have to remind you, is the second overall best defense this year, yeah, I need what you're smoking, man, because obviously it's something good that got you thinking like that. But
Yeah.
the quarterback situation, yeah, I honestly think if you would have got honestly a better quarterback, we would be 10-6, man, at best 9-7. But if we, and I can say this on the other hand, if we had an Alex Smith that was just the calf muscle just didn't tighten up on him ever. If that Pittsburgh game never like occurred to the point where Alex had to try hard and get us the win, and like that calf never tightened up on him, man, I don't think we would have lost for the those 2 out of those last 4 games, man. Because when Alex Smith, he was healthy in that Pittsburgh game. You've seen it. And if we could get that Alex Smith every game, man, oh man, this team would be so good because he was dialed in that Pittsburgh game. I'm like, okay, Alex, we see you, man. You look like the 2018 Alex. He was so dialed in. The start of the Philly game, he was dialed in, drove us right down the field to score. So if we can get if we could have got a healthy Alex Smith this whole season, and for some reason we started on week 1, man, I think we win 10 games. I really do.
I mean, I think and I don't think it's gonna happen because I think Alex is probably gonna retire after this year. But let's say that calf injury never happened. You give Alex a full offseason to learn the offense, get better. I think so last comment that I'm gonna address from this, Rick said second overall defense against a cupcake schedule. I mean, you played 6 games in the NFC East. Sure, we played 6 games in the NFC East, but we also we played a tough schedule. You can't say that. We played the NFC North, 3-11 win teams. 3-11 win teams. And if I'm not mistaken, Rick, I'm pretty sure you guys have 1 win this year over a team over 500. So your argument that the only mediocre team you beat was Pittsburgh, well, you guys have 1 win on the season, I'm pretty sure, against a team over 500. So that argument doesn't work. We played the NFC West, which is one of the best divisions in football, and the AFC North. So, yeah, let's see. What was I talking about? Totally forgot. Oh, yeah, Alex Smith. So, Alex Smith, give him a full offseason if this calf injury never happened, because I think that's swaying his decision retirement-wise. I really, really do. But I think that it would have been nice to see what he could have done against another with a full off season. But I don't think it's going to happen. It might appreciate a knockout. We'll see what happens with Kyle Allen. What is Juan? Give me your not what you want to happen, but what's your most realistic quarterback scenario? Like, what do you think is going to happen? You don't have to necessarily say a player, but you think we're going to start Kyle Allen for the whole year? Do you think we're going to go a veteran route? Stuff like that.
So with the guy that I wanted, well, I guess I can't say my opinion, so I'm gonna go like what I think realistically is gonna happen. Me personally, I think Taylor Heineke's gonna be back next year. I think Kyle Allen's gonna be back next year, and I think they're gonna bring in a veteran, and they're gonna let him clash it out for who was gonna win the starting job. As you've seen this past year, they brought in Kyle Allen, they let him compete with Dwayne, and if Alex Smith was healthy how he was somewhat in the Pittsburgh game at the start of the season. He would have battled with them too. So I think since we're kind of out of the quarterback battle for a top quarterback in the draft, somewhat outside of maybe Trey Lance, if he falls into our lap, I expect them to take him. But if they don't, if he doesn't with how I'm expecting it, I don't expect him to be available. What we're going to be picking, I think we're just going to go with a veteran. Of course, we're going to know by the time we're drafting who do we need to draft. So with that being said, is I think we're going to get a veteran, man. Who that may be, I don't know, but I think with Ron's brain, he's not going to bring in the veteran that we think he's going to be bringing, like a Stafford, like a Dak or whatever. I think he's going to bring in not a mediocre, but a okay slash average free agent this year, and then let him battle out with Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke. So we can essentially go in training camp next year with a three-way battle for starting quarterback.
So Nira appreciate the $2 donation. Says it would have been a 10-win season with Cam Newton.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it would be a 10-win season. I think we would have won more than 7, though. I do think that because 100% his play is better than Dwayne Haskins. I mean, you can't deny that. We would have won the Panthers game. We would have probably won one of the first, 4 games or next 3 games after the first game against the season. And who knows if he would have played better in this system. That he did not have a good year this year. Did not have a good year this year. And part of that, though, if you look at their offensive weapons, they are just terrible. The Patriots, their best receiver is N'Keal Harry. Like, that is not good at all. I think he had like 20 total touchdowns, 10 interceptions, including his rushing. So I think we would have been better this year. I don't know about 10 wins, though, but who knows? I mean, who knows? What's your take on it, Juan?
No, I do not want Cam Newton. Cam Newton is terrible, man. I'm telling you, and I understand. Yes, their best receiver was Jacoby
Oh,
Myers,
yeah. Yeah.
actually. And with that being said, man, I understand you want him. I understand he didn't have the best offense, but Cam Newton did not play the best. Fundamentals looking like Dwayne out there, man. You know him and Dwayne are the same. They don't put touch on the ball. They literally try to, strong arm everything. Cam Newton is just bad, man. He's garbage now, man. You got to get over it. And then he's 30, what? He's going to be 33, 32. Nah, man, I'm good off out on Cam Newton, dude. I don't want him. He's bad, man. And I understand his offensive weapons weren't no good, but no, he played a vital role in their lack of success this year. No wonder why he got benched 5 times for Jared Stidham. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But like I don't think he's as bad as he showed this year. I really don't, but he's not nearly his level that he was in, 2014, 2016. Don't think he's there. Maybe I would be okay with it if we got him because the thing with Adam Schefter, he was talking about 20 to 30 million dollars a year. That is insane. There's no way. The guy got paid like 1 or 2 million this year. There's no way we're paying 20 to 30 million dollars for him. But if we were able to get him for cheap and we're in the position to draft Trey Lance, I would not mind that because they're somewhat similar quarterbacks. I would not mind it. I wouldn't necessarily love it, but I wouldn't mind it. And yeah, this is my take on the quarterback situation. If you got a quarterback you like in free agency, or if you can get. Oh, Nero, we're not saying Cam can't play, but I don't think he's at the level that he was a few years ago. But talking about this is what I'll say: if you have a veteran you like in free agency, Ron, Kyle Smith, go ahead, get that guy. Also, though, if you have a quarterback you really like in the draft, like Trey Lance, maybe, Justin Fields. We don't know where these guys are going. I mean, there's going to be 2 quarterbacks in the top 4-ish, probably. We don't know after that if it's going to be Zach Wilson first. Obviously Trevor Lawrence is going first, but after that, who's getting first, Zach Wilson or Justin Fields? So, who knows? If they have a guy they really like, maybe they can trade up to that, 12 spot and get someone they like and sit them behind someone for a while. What quarterback prospect do you like that we could realistically get, in that maybe 10 to 19 range? Because we could trade up a bit.
So the guy that I wanted, and I don't know if you guys seen my community post, which you probably didn't, you guys, but the guy that I wanted was Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati, and unfortunately, he's going back to school. Man, I'm telling you guys, he's gonna be a top 10 pick next year. He literally led Cincinnati, a Power 5 school, 1 game out of the college football playoffs. Don't be surprised if if they sneak into the college football playoffs next year. But Desmond Ridder was the guy that I wanted, and possibly got him on the back end of the second, maybe even third. But realistically, if we don't trade up, I'll give 1 if we trade up. But if we don't trade up, if we're drafting one, I don't really know, man. I probably Mac Jones, but I had a mock draft had him going first round. So Kyle Trask, I really don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know any late round. I don't know that many late round quarterbacks that we can get that could possibly become a starter outside of Mac Jones, Kyle Trask. So I'm gonna go maybe Mac Jones because I think he's a little bit more mobile than Kyle Trask. And even though some mock drafts had him going in the first round, I don't think he's talented enough to go first round. I think him having all those weapons played a big part of him being successful at Alabama. But if we do in fact trade up, I think we're going to trade up for maybe Zach Wilson. But at the same time, he is not going to go out of that top 5, top 6, 7. I really don't see it happening, man. Me personally, I think he's better than Justin Fields as far as, okay?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I feel like me personally, he's a better quarterback than Justin Fields. Matter of fact, no, I got to take that back. This is so hard because after seeing that game that he played versus Clemson, man, I'm just like, dude. So, I'm going to take that back. Zach Wilson's not better than Justin Fields, and you heard it here on the spot, man. Zach Wilson's really good, but after that Justin Fields performance, you heard me change my opinion here on the spot. Justin Fields is better.
Yeah, and there's a couple others I saw in the chat for next year. Philip B was talking about the guy from UNC. I forgot his name too, but I mean they've been scoring a bunch of points, so that could be something to monitor. Derek King from Miami, he is staying in school. Kellen Mond, I don't know if he's declaring. He's solid. Let's see. So yeah, that's fine. Let's see. We can talk about real quick the Deshaun Watson stuff, and then we can do some wild card picks for that. So the Deshaun Watson thing, a lot of people are asking about it. I made a video about it today. It's unrealistic that they're going to trade him. I mean, he's a franchise guy. He has like 33 touchdowns this year, 7 interceptions, 444 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns on top of that. He led the league in passing yards, 4,800 yards, 70% completion percentage. Absolute beast. That trade, whatever price it's going to be so much. Barely any teams are going to be able to give him, be able to afford him. It's going to be a situation where it's like, if he does request a trade, which I don't think it's going to happen this year, I think it's going to be a situation where, he gives him a chance. They go 4-12 or something. He's like, okay, I'm done. And it's going to be a team picking in the top 5 that can afford him. They're going to have to give him a top 5 pick and a couple other first round picks or something like similar to that. Obviously we would be definitely a playoff contender if we got Deshaun Watson, because he's been elite with a terrible offense around him. And, I personally think we have better weapons on offense than he does. Antonio Gibson, that's better than any running back they have. Terry McLaurin, any better wide receiver than anyone they have, and Logan Thomas is a better tight end than they have. So here, and our offensive line is better than theirs. So I would personally, it would be nice, but it's really, really unlikely. And if it does happen, it's not going to be this offseason.
Yeah, man. Everything that you just said was spot on. I honestly, with Deshaun Watson, man, it sounds good, but I just don't know if it's financially smart, because if you give him all the money, and then even top of that, giving up the draft capital, because it's not only are we going to have to take on that contract, we're going to have to give up so much, 2 first rounds at the minimum.
More.
So yeah, 2 first round picks at the minimum as far as like draft picks, and to, like you said, to add on the players that we're gonna have to lose. It sounds so good, but I just feel like we're gonna have to give up so much to get him here, and we're gonna have to take on that heavy contract. I don't think it's smart for the future what we're trying to build here.
Yeah, and before we got some big news. Before we go ahead and I'll let you guys know about that. Make sure we got 105 people in here. Make sure you guys subscribe. Great Washington football team content on this channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to Juan's channel, Juan Gotti Talking Sports. Great Washington football team YouTuber as well. So the news is that Mike Evans is expected to play, or he is planning on playing. But we talked about it earlier. I think he's going to be limited in the game. I think he's going to be used in red zone situations. I don't think he's going to be 100%. So that's my take on it. I really expected him to play. I am concerned about Kendall Fuller's he hasn't played that great the last half of the season. He's had a couple good games, but I'm concerned with whoever he's matched up on. I personally think Ronald Darby is going to lock up whoever he plays on. I mean, maybe not lock up, but I think he's going to be able to hold his own. But Kendall Fuller concerns me. I think we're going to be able to contain Gronk and Cameron Brake because we got Cam Curl, but whoever that wide receiver is on Kendall Fuller, it does concern me a little bit. And if that is Mike Evans, we'll see. What's your take on that?
Yeah, man. I really thought we were gonna dodge a bullet with Mike Evans, man. But a hyperextended knee. If this was any other week, like if this was just a regular season, he would have definitely missed a week or maybe even 2. But since it's playoffs, it's gonna be his first playoff game. He's not trying to miss it, man. And I really was hoping that he could not play, dude. But since he's playing, I'm concerned for Kendall Fuller too, because he has been performing, not good. He obviously has the stats over Darby as far as interceptions. He has all the flashy plays, but Darby has outplayed him tremendously. And I think that with Kendall Fuller, his problem is that he's, I wish he'd look back for the ball a little more, because he's all up in the cornerback's face and not looking back for the ball. So that's an easy pass interference call. I wish he would look back for the ball more. But I'm concerned about Kendall Fuller too. I think he's probably going to be checking Chris Godwin. I think they might.
I do not like that matchup. I do not. I hope.
But would you like Mike Evans versus Kendall Fuller? I guess since he's hurt, yeah. But at the same time,
the thing with Fuller is that he does not. He's a good tackler. I mean, he's good at sniffing out screens. I mean, that game against the Panthers had so many tackles at that line of scrimmage, but he is not good against the double move, and he's not a good, deep threat corner. Hey, we got street scores in here. We got Rico in here. Make sure you guys already know Rico, but if you don't know, make sure you guys check him out. He said, yeah, Darby's played better, but Fuller has done a great job of taking those interceptions thrown. Yeah, and there was a stretch in that first few weeks of the season, or I think he missed the first 2 weeks, right? He missed the first 2 weeks, but after that, he had 4 interceptions in 3 games. So ever since he hasn't had them, but he still had a few games besides then. After that, but he's also had a couple bad games. I think the Lions didn't have a good game. Didn't have a good game against the Eagles, and a couple other games. So do you want to go ahead real quick? We'll do our picks for the games. Go ahead and let me
we. Okay.
pull that up.
Huh?
I'll pull up the playoff schedule.
Oh yeah, we can do that. And shout out to my boy Rico, man, working hard over there, and hopefully we can bring that win home. I know you want a draft quarterback, but I know dang well you would accept. Not saying we're gonna win a Super Bowl, but I know you would accept a playoff win over that any day. I know you will. I know you want that quarterback, but if we go to somehow make it to a championship game, NFC East or not NFC East, but NFC or Super Bowl somehow, I know you will want that more than a quarterback. But yeah, we can do the picks. And what was the other thing? Let me see. Darby. I know a lot of people were saying he played bad in the Dallas game. Yeah, that was probably his worst game. But also, he made some great plays in that game. So,
And
like,
yeah, sorry, real quick. And it was against one of the better receivers in the NFL, 1-on-1. Really didn't have any safety help. So, Darby's been pretty good. That's really been his only bad game, really.
and he wasn't even bad in that game. He just had a
Yeah.
couple hiccups.
Okay, so I have the stuff right here. I have everything right here. So let's go ahead and do it. You guys also go ahead and do it in the chat. So the first game tomorrow, Colts and Bills. I'll give my prediction first. I think the Bills are gonna pull it out, but I don't know if it's gonna be a big blowout. The Colts have been playing a solid football, and they're a good they have good rushing offense. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's been a beast, but the thing is, I think they're gonna win. I'm not gonna give a score prediction. I think it's gonna be under 6-point win. I saw the Bucs, or not the Bucs, the Bills in the playoffs last year, and I feel like it's a situation where it has a potential of like them not winning just because of it might be too big of a moment for Josh Allen. I'm not sure about that, but they were up big, I think the Texans last year, and they lost the game. But I think they're going to end up winning the game. I don't like the matchup necessarily, but I think they're good enough to win this game. I don't see a blowout, though.
Yeah, man. Like a lot of people have Buffalo favorite. Honestly, then as they should. You know what I'm saying? Buffalo, I think, is going to be the winners of this game. But at the same time, like you said, they had a major lead over the Texans last week and blew that. And not to mention that the Colts have one of the best defenses in the NFL. I don't know if DeForest Buckner is playing though. He was questionable, but I think there's no way he misses this game. I just don't think I don't see him missing that. And then Jonathan Taylor, like you said, has been amazing. They have Nakeem Hines in the backfield. You know what I'm saying? They have multiple running backs, T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman. They have a couple good weapons. I just don't know if it's enough. And then not to mention Phillip Rivers. He's played in California all his career. And then the 1 year he doesn't play for California, he's playing in a dome. He got to go to Buffalo, man, where I believe it's possibly going to be snowing, as it does all the time there. I don't see him getting it done, man. I really don't. I just think Buffalo's too much, man. They are a great team. So I think Buffalo's going to win this game.
Yeah, so next game on the schedule, Rams, Seahawks. Don't know who's starting the game. If it's, what's his name? Jared Goff or the other guy, Warford, I think, something like that, who did not play that bad against the Cardinals last week. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say 3-point game. I think the Seahawks are going to win this game.
It's tough, man. I want Seahawks, I believe, are the favorite, but the Rams always give Seattle a hard time. It always gives Russell Wilson a hard time. The Wilford guy and Jared Goff, even if Jared Goff plays, he's not going to be 100%. I mean, he just got surgery 2 weeks ago. So I think the Wilford guy is going to start. And as long as he can take care of the ball, be a clock manager, they can win this game, man. And I think with anytime you have Aaron Donald, who is the best defensive player of this generation by far, it's not a question. And you can make a case he's the best defensive player of all time. I don't know if that's a stretch, but this guy is obviously the best defensive player in the league now in this generation. Anytime you have Aaron Donald on your team, you have a chance to win. And that sounds like a quarterback, but that's how good he is. Not to mention, Jalen Ramsey has shut down DK Metcalf every time they've played. Every time they played, DK Metcalf has not had over, I believe, a 60-yard game on him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying if their defense could win them this game and the Wilford guy play a little, not conservative, but game manager and take care of the ball, they can win this game. I'm going to be honest. And it's a division game. So I would not be surprised if LA wins. I'm still gonna go with Seattle because they have the better team overall, especially with Russell Wilson at the quarterback. You have a shot as always. So I'm gonna go Seahawks.
So yeah. Next game we already talked about it. We both have the Bucs, but who knows? Any given Sunday could win the game. I think we can do some of these kind of quick-ish. I got the Saints beating the Bears. Could be closer than people think, but the Saints, Alvin Kamara is going to be playing. Michael Thomas should be playing. They should be relatively healthy. I think they win against the Bears. Let's say by like 9 or something.
Yeah, man. Obviously, we're Washington fans over here. We want them to win. We hope it's not what we say it's going to be, but we're just trying to be realistic. And Bears Saints, I think it's going to get ugly, man. I think it's going to start off a close game, and I think it's going to get ugly. I just think the Saints are going to kill them. My bad.
There you go. So the last game is Browns versus Steelers. I don't know how to feel about this game. I really don't. I think if Kevin Stefanski was calling plays, Matonio was healthy or was able to play, and Jack Conklin is questionable for the game too. I think he's going to play, but that's something to monitor. I really want the Browns to win. I really, really do. This is tough. I really want the Browns to win, man. I'm gonna pick the Browns. I'm gonna pick the Browns. I just have a weird feeling. I think they're gonna win, even though they're shorthanded. I think they're gonna win.
Yeah, man. With the Browns, I do too. I think they're gonna win because the Steelers. We exposed something with the Steelers, and Juju's talking crap all again, saying they're the same old Browns, and the Browns have their number. You know what I'm saying? The first time I believe they played, I can't remember. I believe it was actually close. I could be wrong though.
No, I think the first game they got killed by the Steelers, but it was like one of the first games, I think, and then but they just beat them.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, with the Browns, I think they have the better team in my opinion. The defense is good. Their offense is good. Obviously, Kevin Stefanski not calling plays is huge for them, and that hopefully they can get over it. I'm not sure who's gonna be calling plays. I'm not that deep into the Browns, but I do think they have the better team, and I think they're gonna have to lean heavy on that run game. And I think we have one more game: the Ravens and Titans.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so this is another tough one. Ravens. Oh yeah, just skip it right over that one. Sunday 1:00. This is a tough one. I mean, the Titans beat them earlier this year. The Titans killed them in the divisional matchup last year. But I just feel like the Ravens, they have been scorching hot, like so hot the last few weeks. Maybe going in as somewhat of underdog will help them. I'm gonna go Ravens. Could be either one though. I think it's gonna be a good game though.
Yeah, man. My pick for this game is gonna be the Ravens. I'm sorry, man. I Tennessee beat them the last 2 times they played, but the Ravens, I don't see them losing 3 times to them. It's hard to lose 3 times in a row, and I just think the Ravens are been balling like I don't know what. The Titans' defense is horrible, and I just think the Ravens are coming in hot, and they're coming in as the better team. Although they're not favored to win, if they could somewhat, not shut down, but limit his rushing attack, that being Derrick Henry, I don't see them being able to win, man. Honestly, like if you see, how they say the game runs through a quarterback, their offense runs through Derrick Henry. Wherever Derrick Henry goes, that's where that offense goes. And if the defense of the Ravens could, limit him, they're going to win. Not to mention, they're having Brandon Williams back. They're having Calais Campbell back. They didn't have those the first time they played when they danced on their logo. It's personal with the Ravens now and the Titans. And they might not show it, but trust me. And they're playing their best ball. So I got the Ravens winning that. And the Washington football team is in here. Obviously not the real people, but they say, do we want to be on the show? Hey, man, hire me. Hire my boy Pedro. I know it's not the real team. I mean, not the real page, but if it is, somehow, hey, yeah, I'm down to be on the Washington show.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up. It was a good stream. Make sure you guys check out Juan Gotti's channel. And hey, hopefully tomorrow, our season isn't over. But if it is, leave me some video ideas down below in the comments for the off season. I already got some ones planned out, but make sure you guys do that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Like I said, make sure you guys check out Juan's channel. Any last words, man?
Man, hopefully this isn't the last stream of the on season. Hopefully we advance. Hopefully we shock the world and win, man. Please, man. It would be such a good feeling if we win. And I do think we have a chance. And go Washington. And like you said, who was that? I can't find your name. Oh, Lights Out. Hopefully we will shock the world, like you said. Peace.
Yep. Peace, Hassan, Ali, Beast Mode 2.0. Thank you guys all for coming in here. Thank you, Brian, everyone. Peace.